What is going on, YouTube? It is the Spoon Dude back with another video. This time it's another custom action figure showcase, and I will be showing off my Marvel Legends Spider-Man custom figure. Before I start, I do want to mention probably most of you are subscribed for stop motions. Those certainly get the most views. I will be working on them. I just haven't had time, so if you are in it for this stop motions, just stay tuned. Alright, so just to show this off a little bit, this is a Spider-Man figure based on the Marvel Legends Toybiz Fearsome Foes box set Spider-Man. Originally I bought the figure off of eBay, and while I like the figure, unfortunately the fingers broke, right? So I went off to fix the hands and kind of got carried away and did the whole figure. First off with the hands, I took off the original forearm. There was a point of articulation there, and from that point, forward, that's where I popped it off. I switched the forearm with a Hasbro Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon Spider-Man. It's that superposable one. I just boiled and popped off, then put it on this figure, glued it, and then there was some gap which I filled with some sculpt. And you can see, obviously, I painted in. This is from the Medicom Mafex Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man. I had one that was broken, so I ended up taking the joint and putting it in. The figure can have loads of articulation. You can see, move up and down and swivel, and then this can rotate on top of that joint right there. So you can also adjust which way the wrist kind of moves, and I think that's a really nifty piece of articulation, really helpful in different poses. But what that also provided was the opportunity for interchangeable hands. Like I said, the individual fingers broke on the original Fearsome Foes Spider-Man figure I had, so the only way to get that posability kind of back is to either fix the fingers, which was already impossible since it just broke, pieces broke, wherever, or interchangeable hands, which are a little bit less fragile, and that's what the Mafex joint provided me with, along with the hands. So here's his fists. You get some open hands, some kind of calm hands, obviously the web hands. Obviously the wrist can just interchange easily right there. Like I said, loads of articulation. So with this figure, I was not really happy with the head, the original head sculpt. I just thought it had a really weird kind of proportions to it. The eyes weren't bad, the webs were fine, but the jaw always bothered me. I'll try to get a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about. So I resculpted it. I resculpted the webs, so they were a little bit more open. There was less lines going through the head, and I did sculpt them like I said. They're a little bit soft, but I kind of like that. And then the eyes I resculpted. Do you think I made them a little thick? You can kind of see, but it's not too bad. Or go for the smaller eyes. A little bit more of a classic Spider-Man. And I did resculpt the jaw so that he has a nose and kind of the impression of a mouth. So he looks like there's a person under there. And the paint job for the head, just some red. And then I used the black wash to get through the lines. Unfortunately, the black wash did really darken the head, so then I went back with a red wash. So same thing with a black wash, but with red paint. And then some light red dry brushing so that the red was a little bit brighter. I painted the shape and then used some gloss for the whole eyes, just so that they wouldn't scratch and whatever. I think that turned out pretty well. And the body, all the red parts is just a basic matte acrylic red, and the blue is a mix of this blue and a mix of this blue with some whites mixed in, to kind of get this light color of blue. And you can see there is some paint differentiation right there, like in the abs. And what I wanted to do was give this figure some like really subtle detailing. I didn't want to go too harsh on like the dry brushing. I don't know. There's so much sculpt work on this figure that I feel like if I, went with a black wash, it would look kind of dirty, and I didn't want that. So you can see there is difference in paint though. So there is still detail. I got the back spider right there. Now some of the paint's not as clean as I think I could do, but can always clean that up if I'm not lazy. And I did sand all the joints so that it wouldn't be paint rub. Tighten the hips. Besides the hands, it does have some other accessories I made for this figure. So besides this head, if the small eyes aren't your thing, here is a head with bigger eyes. Now I took this head sculpt from the cartoon Spider-Man, like I was talking, where I whipped these from, and I did resculpt the eyes so that they were even bigger. Like I said, I wanted 2 different styles, one with the more classic small eyes, and then one maybe with a kind of 90s huge eyes. Yeah, I'm okay with this one. I do think it kind of sits weird on this body. I don't know, at least in the side view. And I did paint it, like I said. It's, just another display option. And he also has an unmasked head for when take off the mask. And I'm pretty happy with this too. This is from the 2002 Spider-Man movie. I think it was the wrestling Spider-Man, Peter Parker head, and I resculpted the hair and stuff. I don't know. I'm not super happy with this. I'm glad I, made it for this figure. I did hollow it out from the bottom to fit. But I don't know. I'm not happy with the back of the head. It's really round. I might resculpt it again, but yeah. I did paint the face. Gave it a little bit of gloss in the eyes. And I painted the lips. So it's not too bad. And we're gonna just stick with these classic head because I like this one most. There is a final display option I did give this figure. So first let me show you this backpack, which is from the Mayfix Spider-Man. I believe it was the deluxe version. And this fits really well on this figure. And obviously that's a display option by itself. But while customizing another figure, and touching up this guy in paint or whatever, I saw this video review of a Kotobukiya Spider-Man statue where he's like wearing winter clothes, and I wanted to replicate that look as an option for this figure. So I made a cloth beanie and a cloth scarf to go with this figure, and they are purple because I only had purple cloth and black cloth, and thought it would look better to have purple. It's more color. So actually, let me show you this first. I basically made a 1/12 scale like strip of cloth and made it a scarf. I cut these into it to make it, the weird thingies of a scarf. Painted some green stripes, and then I folded it in 3 actually, because it was a bit too thick if I just did it in 2. And here's what I did. I laid on the figure. I folded this over the shoulder and then glued it in place, and then I also added a rubber band so that it would actually stay on the figure a little bit better, because in this scale of action figure it's not going to lay the same way. That rhymes, but you can see how it fits nicely on the body. Now I don't really know how to do a scarf, and it would be hard to actually fold it like a real scarf again in the size, so I just sort of folded it over. And I think it still looks like a scarf. Here's the beanie, which I just sort of winged it. Strip of cloth, did some folding and gluing, and yeah. And I'm actually really happy how this came out. You know, it's a bit of a fun, kind of quirky Spider-Man thing. So yeah. So here is the Spider-Man compared to the custom Deadpool I made and also did a video of. You can see he's a good height. So here's a figure in a dynamic pose, and overall, I'm really happy with how this custom turned out. Obviously, I made it, so I'm obviously biased, but I'm still happy about it. I think it's pretty satisfied with it. So leave a comment, leave a like if you were satisfied with the video. Leave your thoughts of what you thought about the figure, and yeah, please subscribe if you would like to see more custom figure showcases, and also stay tuned because I will be making some stop motion soon. Alright, thank you, and I guess have a good day.